Boom, just like that, guys. They just got busted. And you're going to want to see this because a USDA agent working inside the very agency meant to help America's poor just got arrested in one of the biggest food stamp scams in U.S. history. $66 million gone. Now, while you were working, this person was scamming you while your taxpayer dollars were being drained. These crooks out here were filling their own pockets. But here's the twist, guys. This is the twist that the media will not touch. While Biden's corrupt agencies were busy stealing money from the American people, President Trump, he was busy rewriting the entire Social Security playbook. And for millions of retirees, it's about to hit $2,000 per month for the first time ever. And wait until you hear what President Trump just did with the $4,000 senior tax break that Biden's media refused to report. Guys, this changes everything. So we got SNAP fraud, insider arrests, so basically these soda bans. We got trade wars. Let's not forget about this $200 billion welfare overhaul, and President Trump launching global pressure campaigns, and it all connects. I know. Now, if you think that this is about food stamps, you're not ready for what's about to come up next. And guys, drop me a quick comment down below. Is $2,000 a month enough for Social Security benefits? And if you are receiving Social Security benefits, leave me a comment. Let me know, are you receiving Social Security, SSI, or SSDI? Let me know in the comments, guys. So I want to go ahead and break down exactly how former President Joe Biden's USDA got caught red-handed while millions of Americans are now claiming Social Security early out of fear, and how President Trump just flipped the entire script, delivering relief, exposing corruption, and taking this fight global. So stay locked in, guys, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why the tide is now turning and why the corrupt class in Washington should be terrified of what Trump is about to do next. Now, if you appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really, really do appreciate you guys. So folks, what if I were to tell you that the same government that claims it's for the people just got caught robbing the people from the inside? Because this is exactly what happened this week when a USDA employee and 5 accomplices were slapped with federal charges in what prosecutors are calling one of the largest food stamp fraud cases in U.S. history. $66 million gone. Now, this wasn't some, back alley scam. No, this was actually a full-blown fraud operation happening inside one of the most bloated federal agencies, the very one that was actually tasked with feeding the hungry. And the worst part, it took this long to uncover it. Now, I want to ask you guys, should these people be thrown under the jail? I mean, you got people out here struggling just to make ends meet, and they're supposed to be helping people, the very vulnerable Americans, and these are the people who are stealing from those who can afford to be stolen from the least, who can't afford to be stolen from the least. This is terrible, right? Anyway, so they were clearly abusing the SNAP program, the food stamp network, and they were exploiting the EBT card network to push through these unauthorized transactions and these fake receipts, fake recipients. And get this, guys, the insider had direct access to USDA systems. That's how deep this rot goes. So, you got our government workers using your taxpayer dollars as a personal slush fund. Something is seriously broken here, guys. And we're just getting started, because I also want to share with you guys just how massive this particular program has become under the previous administrations. Guys, we're talking $200 billion per year. And experts say 20 to 30% of that is pure fraud, waste, and abuse. Comment down below if you think that this is fraud, waste, or abuse, guys, because Elon Musk's Doge definitely seems to think so. Now, think about this. This is up to $60 billion a year disappearing while you're paying more at the gas pump, more for groceries, more in taxes. So, and they're doing this all just to kind of keep this circus running. And let's not forget about the fact that they also want to raise the debt ceiling, right? So here's the part that's really going to make you smile, though. President Trump's USDA just kicked off a full-blown crackdown. Brooke Rollins, Trump's Secretary of Agriculture made it very clear. This is just the first domino to fall. Guys, they're working hand in hand with the FBI and the DOJ. They're cleaning house, and her words were crystal clear. This is not the government you remember under Joe Biden. Finally, arrests. Finally, consequences. Finally, somebody who's protecting your money. But that's only half the story. Because while these crooks were out here stealing from taxpayers, President Trump, he was busy rewriting the future for millions of Americans. And the numbers are going to make you do a double take. Now, of course, I want to go ahead and break down exactly how Social Security just made history and why President Trump's $4,000 senior tax break could flip the entire system on its head. Now, trying to pick a Medicare plan, it feels like throwing darts blindfolded, right? I mean, like, why guess though? When Chapter already knows the way. Leslie Taylor, she called and she saved $1,000 a year. Sharon Bertusik, she lost her Medicaid coverage, but Chapter stepped in, helped her get on a plan with $0 premiums, $0 meds, and copays that dropped from $89 to just $20. They compare every plan available, no shortcuts, just answers. And did I mention that it's free? So reach out to our friends over at askchapter.com. Actually, it's askchapter.org/Ron and start saving today. I would love to hear more success stories from you guys because many of you guys have already hit me up saying, hey, Ron, I just want to thank you. I'm saving $1,200 a year. Or Ron, I'm saving $150 per month. It's crazy. So you guys are getting me excited. Anyway, go to askchapter.org/Ron, or you can call them at the phone number listed down below. I'll also leave a link for you guys so you can click that link in the description and in the pinned comment so you can go to Chapter. Anyway, so we need to zoom out just for a second, okay? Because this fraud scandal isn't some isolated oopsie, right? It's a symptom of a corrupt, bloated $200 billion machine. The SNAP program, also called food stamps, has exploded in size, but so has the abuse. Analysts estimate that up to 30% of that budget is outright wasted or stolen. Now, do the math, guys. That's $60 billion a year. And that $60 billion is just vanishing every single year. Meanwhile, working class Americans are struggling just to keep the lights on. Can I get an amen for this, right? So, you were told that the program feeds the needy. But what they didn't tell you is that for years, insiders, they were busy feeding themselves. They were feeding their buddies and their fake shell accounts. Okay? All of this is happening under the radar, all with your money. So I want you to ask yourself this. How long would you survive running your finances like that? Right? But when it's the government, all of a sudden there's no accountability. Right? So this is why this arrest is so much bigger than just one employee. It's a warning shot to the entire broken bureaucracy here. And here's where the story flips. Because while the madness was going unchecked under Biden, Trump and his team, they're already drawing up the blueprint to clean house, guys. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins said it best. She said, hey, this is not Biden's USDA anymore. Trump's USDA isn't just uncovering fraud. It's coming after it with a battering ram. Wow, right? So essentially, they're working with the FBI, they're working with the DOJ, with state prosecutors, and they're not stopping at this one case here. More stings are coming. More arrests are coming. And this time, guys, there will be consequences. And so this is exactly what happens when you bring real leadership back to Washington. The corruption, it's not ignored, it's exposed. The fraud doesn't get covered up, it gets cuffed. But President Trump did not stop there. Because while the deep state was stealing your taxpayer dollars, President Trump was building a Social Security milestone for the history books. So, of course, I'm going to go ahead and break down the $2,000 Social Security breakthrough, the real truth behind the $4,000 senior tax relief, and why the left hated both. Guys, you're going to see how President Trump outmaneuvered Biden's budget games, exposed the media silence, and then turned a blocked tax cut into a win for 56 million seniors, guys. All right, folks, I want to talk about the other massive story that the media tried to bury this week. Okay. Are you guys ready for this? Social Security just made history. And not because of Joe Biden. No, this one goes straight to President Trump's economic pressure and policy maneuvers. For the first time ever, the average monthly benefit for retired Americans, it's about to cross the $2,000 mark. Now, that's not just a number. That's a symbolic milestone for millions of seniors who've worked their entire lives. They've worked their tails off, paid into the system. So many people are from the left are calling this an entitlement program, and they were told to just wait their turn. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you, is this an entitlement program? Yes or no? So let that sink in. $2,000 a month. Now, for many Americans, this is the closest that they've come to dignity in retirement years, okay? And yes, when President Trump pushed this forward, did the media celebrate it? Of course not. They're too busy obsessing over soda bans and indictments. Let me know down below in the comments, guys. Are you receiving Social Security? Are you receiving SSI or SSDI? I want to hear from you. Now, here's the twist that they didn't see coming, guys. While the media essentially screamed he didn't eliminate Social Security taxes like he promised, Trump said, fine, watch this. He delivers a $4,000 tax deduction for seniors 65 years old and older. It's called the Enhanced Deduction for Seniors, and it applies to everyone, whether you itemize or not. Why not just eliminate the taxes, though, right? Well, that's a great question. The answer is the Byrd Rule. This sneaky little Byrd Rule in the Senate blocks major Social Security changes through reconciliation. So that's why it didn't happen. So Trump didn't waste time fighting rigged procedures, so he worked around it. So instead of dying on the hill of symbolism, he delivered a $4,000 win that actually made it through the House and is now, I just heard it just passed the Senate. Did you guys hear that? Anyway, this is why they cannot stand him, because he doesn't just talk. Trump gets it done. And we're not done yet, guys, because I also want to share with you guys why this $4,000 deduction is actually more powerful than eliminating taxes on Social Security altogether. And I also want to talk to you guys about how President Trump designed it to help 56 million Americans, especially the ones Biden's policies keep leaving behind. Now, I also want to expose why millions of seniors are now filing for Social Security early. And they're doing this out of fear that the system will collapse, and how that fear is ironically pushing benefits even higher. So let's go ahead and break it down, okay? So why is this $4,000 tax deduction such a game changer? Maybe even better than wiping out Social Security taxes altogether. Well, here's the truth the media didn't bother explaining. If Trump had eliminated the taxes outright, millions of seniors would not have seen a dime. Why? Well, because believe it or not, many Social Security recipients don't even file taxes. They wouldn't benefit from that change at all. But the $4,000 deduction, that's different. It applies to everyone, whether you itemize or you take the standard deduction. So this means real relief for over 56 million Americans, seniors who actually need it. Lower income households that Biden's IRS treats like invisible people. Trump's move wasn't symbolic. It was surgical, targeted, strategic. And that's exactly why the establishment cannot stand him, because he doesn't posture, he produces. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where it gets even wilder. So as all of this is unfolding, as President Trump's reform builds momentum, there's a new panic that's sweeping across the country. Now, you may have heard of this, you may not have heard about this, but all of a sudden, millions of seniors are now filing for Social Security early. Now, you might be asking yourself or thinking to yourself, well, Ron, why are they doing this? Well, it's because they don't believe that the system will even be around in 10 years. And who can blame them? So what are they doing? They're applying for Social Security early so that they can get as much money out of the system as possible before the entire Social Security system collapses. or at least that's their fear. They watched Joe Biden shovel trillions of dollars into the Ukraine, DEI offices, fake green subsidies, and now we're finding out that the USDA was handing out EBT cards like candy in a $66 million scam. So they're saying, screw it. I don't trust this system. I'm claiming my benefits now before this whole thing collapses. I mean, can you blame them, right? Let me know if this makes sense, guys. Drop me a quick yes or no down below. But here's a twist that nobody expected. That early panic that we heard about, all these new applicants, this is actually pushing the average monthly benefit even higher. So essentially what's happening is every time a new senior files, their benefit number gets added to the average. And many of them qualify for higher payouts based on lifetime income and recent COLA adjustments. And so this is exactly why Social Security just broke through the $2,000 ceiling for the first time. And if the trend continues going up, the pressure will only grow for lawmakers to finally deliver more for those still under the line. So I think it's pretty clear, guys. President Trump, he lit the fire. And now even Congress is eyeing to see who's been left behind. And we're not done yet. By the way, of course, we're looking for any kind of money that we can get out of Social Security before the system collapses. But at the same time, don't leave money on the table. If you're approaching 65 years old or you're older, make sure to give our friends over at Chapter a phone call. Hit them up on the web right now. See how much money you can save. Can you imagine if you were to get some good news saying, hey, we can save you an extra $900 a year, an extra $1,500 a year. I don't know how much they can save you, but I've heard some really optimistic stories, and I can't wait to hear more good news from you guys. But of course, we're not done yet, because I want to expose how Trump's USDA just rewrote the rules on SNAP, banned a whole bunch of junk food with taxpayer money, and also shut down a scam that's been quietly fueling big soda companies for years. Guys, you're not going to believe what states are doing now and why even Democrats are getting on board. All right, guys. So I want to talk about another broken system that President Trump just bulldozed through, the SNAP program. You guys, anybody heard of SNAP program? If you have, just type SNAP in the comments. Because while Biden's USDA was quietly letting fraudsters walk out the door with $66 million, Trump's team was out here doing something that no one dared to do in decades. They banned junk food on taxpayer dollars, for real, for real. Guys, Nebraska just became the first state in U.S. history to receive a federal waiver to ban soda and energy drinks from SNAP purchases. Now, before I go any further, I want to get your take on this. Do you approve of Trump's push to ban soda and snack foods using SNAP EBT funds? If you support it, drop a 47 in the comments down below. If you do not support it, drop a 46 in the comments down below. Or you can just say, we should be able to use our SNAP and EBT benefits for whatever we want. I want to know what you guys think about that, seriously. But let me say this again. Under President Trump's USDA, states are finally saying, hey, look, if you want to rot your teeth out and, rot your teeth out and your gut at the same time with sugar water, fine. But you're not going to use taxpayer money to do it. That's what states are saying. And it did not stop with Nebraska. Ohio, Indiana, they followed immediately. And more states are lining up right now to join the crackdown. President Trump's USDA, they called it what it was, or what it is, common sense. And honestly, you got to ask, why did it take so freaking long, right? Because here's a dirty little secret. The number one most purchased item using SNAP benefits was sugary drinks. This is known to give people like diabetes and all sorts of other health issues, making folks overweight. One of the reasons why I never drink calories, because drinking calories is the easiest way to get fat and get overweight. Next thing you know, you got diabetes and different body parts end up needing to be amputated, and hypertension, just all sorts of horrible issues. I mean, listen to RFK Jr. He'll tell you about it. Now think about this, guys. While you're out there struggling to afford eggs and meat, your taxes were buying cases of Coke and Monster energy drinks for people who didn't even work. Is that fair? Junk food on the government dime. Not anymore. And get this, guys. Even Democrat governors are backing this up. Why? Because the data is undeniable and the public is fed up. Now, this isn't about left or right. This is about restoring basic sanity to a system that was clearly spiraling out of control. Trump didn't just go around, he didn't just go after fraud and bribes. He went after the everyday abuse that had become so normalized. Nobody even questioned it anymore. And so now, for the first time in years, the SNAP program is being reshaped into something responsible, something actually designed to help people and not poison them. So if you think about it, this is not just about food stamps, okay? Because President Trump is about to take the fight global. He's taking this thing overseas. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about trade deficits, tariffs, Italy, India, Vietnam, and how Trump's next move could flip the global food market on its head. And yes, pasta, wine, and wheat are all on the table. Now, while Biden's USDA was throwing your taxpayer dollars, all your money into soda machines and fake EBT scams, President Trump was halfway across the world flipping the script. Because President Trump's team isn't just focused on fraud and domestic policy. They're on a full-blown mission to fix the global imbalance that's been killing American farmers for decades. So let me just give you one number. $44 billion. That's our agricultural trade deficit with Italy. Actually, that's just Italy, if you think about it. $44 billion is our agricultural trade deficit with Italy alone. Not the whole EU, just Italy. So we send them soybeans and feedstock. They send us wine, pasta, cheese, olive oil by the boatloads. They block our exports with bogus rules while we roll over them, or while we basically just kind of roll over and let them dump their product on our shelves. We take their Ferraris and all their expensive cars and stuff, right? Well, Trump says not anymore. Trump's USDA is fighting. He's taking this fight to Italy next week. And after that, he's taking it over to India, to Vietnam, Japan, South America. They're not just talking tariffs. They're going after the sneaky stuff too. Some of those non-tariff trade barriers, that fake science to block U.S. goods, and overregulation written to protect foreign industries. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the next phase of the America First agenda, and it's aimed at one thing and one thing only: opening the foreign markets to our farmers and to our producers, not China's, not the EU's, not the global elites, ours. Can I get an amen for that, guys? And while the corporate media is melting down over Trump's every word, his team is doing the one thing none of them ever could. He's making global trade fair, making retirement benefits real, and making fraudsters pay. So let's go ahead and tie all of this together, shall we? $66 million in SNAP fraud, busted. USDA insiders, cuffed. Soda on food stamps, cut off. Social Security, historic $2,000 average. $4,000 tax breaks for seniors, delivered. Trade deficits being crushed one country at a time. This is what leadership looks like. This is what America First actually means. So while Biden's bureaucrats were busy stuffing their faces with junk food and stealing from working class Americans, Trump was busy delivering milestone wins for millions, rewriting Social Security, cleaning up federal waste, and taking this battle global. The swamp is screaming, guys. The media is spinning. And guess what? The tide is evidently turning. People are watching, and Trump's just getting started. So If you're fired up by what we talked about today, guys, smash the like button, share this video, and drop a comment down below. What do you think about the SDA, what do you think about the USDA scandal, guys? Let me know what you think about that. And is $2,000 a month enough for Social Security? Should soda be banned from food stamps? Let me know what you think, guys. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because the next wave of arrests, reforms, and global trade shocks is coming. We're going to be right here to break it down. We'll see you next time. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below.